Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this open house today. Welcome to the one of the most popular sessions in my experience, because this gives you the opportunity to chat with some of our international students that are studying with us right now. So this could be you a few years from now, perhaps. My name is Andy, and I'm a member of the international admissions team, and I'll be moderating this session. And I'm joined today by a few familiar faces. You've seen all of these student ambassadors throughout the event today. And I do encourage you to pose questions to them through the chat. My colleagues will then share your questions with me directly. But without any further ado, I would like to ask all of the ambassadors to share their cameras if you can, and we can begin. Now, first off, I know that when you were graduating from high school, you had so many options in terms of where you could go for your university studies. Perhaps you were considering the UK or the US. Perhaps you were looking at Australia. There are so many options worldwide. But I'm curious to know what drew you to Carleton University and Canada. Parth, would you like to begin?
Sure. So my dad actually came to Canada from India and worked here for a couple of years before he went back and started his own business. So since childhood, I've been hearing about Canada and how amazing it has been. And I researched it, fell in love with it, and the desire grew strong to just come here somehow. And undergraduate degree was the best option.
That's awesome. Great. I love the connection that you have with Canada already, considering your dad's background. Romina, how about you? What drew you to Carleton and Canada?
Well, just a little bit of context. I was actually born in Canada, but I was raised in Mexico my whole life. So I always knew that I wanted to come back to Canada. I would say I'm more of an international student since I wasn't raised here, but my dream was always to come to Canada. So I applied to a lot of scholarships and I was like, okay, so I'm going to fulfill my dream.
That's awesome. How about you, Akriti?
For me personally, it was the same. I was deciding where I want to go when I chose, like, okay, I want to go abroad. And like you mentioned, I had like all these options of places randomly put into my plate, being like, oh, I can go anywhere in the world. And mostly choosing Canada and Carleton was firstly like of the field I wanted to work in and the importance of it, especially mental health. And secondly, were like my career paths, the specializations that I were looking for were more renowned and known here, and they were more better and good over here for more opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And Winmi?
So the reason why I chose Canada, because I came here in high school. I didn't came here just for undergrad. So I think because I'm from a southeast country, so I want to see snow. That's one of the reason. I want to see snow. I want to be in a cold weather. So I was thinking between Canada or US, but I've heard that like Canadian people are very friendly, and that's like, oh yeah, I want to go. I want to be in that comfortable but strange and new environment. And the reason why I chose Carleton is because of their engineering program. So engineering program in Carleton has known as one of the best engineering program in Canada, and they also offer biomedical and electrical engineering. At the time that I joined, there are not many school offer that, and because of the reputation that Carleton has, so that's why I chose to come to Carleton.
That's fantastic. Yes, we do have a world-renowned engineering program for sure. And Dua, how about you? What drew you to Carleton and to Canada?
Yeah, I'm very career driven. I study journalism, and the Canadian journalism field is like really strong. A lot of like press freedoms, so that was one really big part of it. And then the Carleton journalism program is like pretty well known as like the best journalism program in the country. And so for me, it was like a no brainer. The technology that Carleton has, I've done our audio sessions, our video sessions, being able to see like the real broadcast equipment has been incredible. So yeah, it's because of the mainly because of the program.
Yeah, that makes sense. We do have the original Bachelor of Journalism program in Canada for sure. But coming from all over the world, from Morocco, from India, from Vietnam, and from Mexico, there, I assume you had some presumptions about Canada or you had certain expectations. When you actually came to Canada, those did what you encounter meet those expectations? Parth, would you like to begin?
Yep. So everyone knows Canadian people are really polite, but they are really polite, and they're also really polite on the road while driving. So if you're about to cross roads, the cars stop for you even if you're far from your crossing line. Yeah, and there's the road rages are very rare.
Yeah, that's true. Diva, how about you? What were your expectations prior to coming to Canada, and how did your experience meet those expectations?
So very similar. Like everyone talks about Canadians being really friendly people, really nice people. The diversity as well is something that I expected because like we're a mosaic, not a melting pot. So that was pretty cool. I thought that I wouldn't experience any culture shocks because I did grow up in a pretty like international, like Western environment, but you expect anything because every city here is so much different from each other. Like Canada's a big country from like, I don't know, Vancouver to Ottawa. Those are two completely different cultures. So yeah, that was something that shocked me a little bit.
Yes, I'm often asked when I'm meeting students about the weather in Canada, but the snow, and um, there are sometimes certain expectations that Canada is going to be uh, a winter wonderland year round. But of course, you all know that's not the case, although the weather this morning might say a little bit differently. Considering you were coming from Vietnam, what were your expectations? Did you expect to see snow right off the bat, or what was your experience
Actually,
like?
yeah, that's actually the good question. So, I expect to see snow. Yes, I expect to see snow, but I only expect to see snow in the December, like Winter Wonderland, like in the song, right? But no, it lasts a bit longer than I thought. So, and since I came here when I was 16, and during the snow time, it was kind of hard time for me to get used to it. It took me like a year to like to be able to get used to the weather. Actually, not a year, too, maybe like 6 months. So get used to the weather, to the transportation. How do you commute between two locations during the snow time? But during the COVID time, when I come back to Vietnam, I missed those days. Like, I missed the day that I can just stay inside and look at the snow weather, and then yeah, um, I can say it's difficult at the beginning, but oh, it grow a favor in me that oh I want to be in this weather. I want to be in this environment.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great to experience four distinct seasons for sure. Now, we're starting to get some questions from the audience, and it ties into other questions I was going to ask. When I'm traveling, I'm often asked about what is student life like at Carleton. So, with that framework, how do you balance your academics with the social side and other activities that you're engaged in? Romina, how about you?
I would definitely say it's all about time management and being really organized. Um, yeah, sometimes, especially I don't know, with my schedule that I have so many things going on, I think you need to sacrifice some stuff, but eventually you manage everything. For example, me that I also work while I have a full course, right? The five courses. I cannot do all my work during the week and I work during the week, but then I have fun on the weekends. I hang out with my friends or I see them at the cafeteria, I go eat with them, or I visit my boyfriend also in the weekends. So definitely you just need to manage your time, but everything is possible.
That's a good point. Personally, I struggled with the time management in my first year, but there are actually resources available to international students to help you with time management and things like that if it is something you struggle with. Akriti, how about you? How do you juggle the academics with all other aspects of university life?
For me personally, like Ramina mentioned, I have a lot of different jobs and I kind of like being busy, so I feel like that kind of works in my favor because like I do work on the weekends. So usually I never have time, but like I kind of schedule myself in a way where I'll be like I'll work in the mornings, so that way I have the evenings to myself. If I want to like, even go out, have dinner, see my friends, or do schoolwork. And during the weekdays, like I plan my classes this year, especially in like such a way where all my classes are just in the mornings. And I feel like I like the freedom of like choosing when I want my classes to be and picking those particular sections, which kind of gave me my freedom to like work, volunteer, and like work at other places. So I feel like I get to do schoolwork done like in the morning when I'm more productive, and then I can be like going to work, going to this place or that. And I feel like having my flexibility was like a really big key to like keeping my schedule like really balanced and getting all the work done.
Yes, absolutely. I love that aspect as well, which was so different from high school, just being able to build your own timetable based upon whether you're a morning person or more of an afternoon person or even an evening person. It's great to be able to have that control for sure. You can always plan your work or your classes around your work schedule, which is pretty great. Um, when I'm traveling around the world, I'm often meeting with parents, and both students and parents always are wondering about safety. That is certainly a major, major consideration when you're deciding where you wish to study. So I'd like to ask each of you, starting with you, Dua, how do you feel about safety on campus and also outside of the campus?
I'd say our campus is pretty safe. I've never had any major issues or heard of any major issues on campus. In the extremely unlikely event that something does happen, there is an emergency line that you can call that does bring special constable to your area if you need assistance, especially medical assistance. I know that there was a question about that in one of the previous sessions. You can call the medics straight to where you are if you need that help. In terms of Ottawa in general, also pretty safe. Um, yeah, I mean, you obviously you have to do the normal things like, at night be a little bit more aware, but these are tips in any city that you're in. It's nothing there's nothing like special about like Ottawa's not like extremely dangerous or anything like that. It's a very safe city.
Yeah. And Winmy, how about you? How would you respond to that question about safety?
Uh, yeah. So since I came here since high school, so I experienced a little bit more. And I used to live on campus when I was in high school too. I think the system of Canadian school that they have a specific curfew for you to come back after, like before the curfew time, that'd be a great way to like save or to make sure that students can be arrived at the specific time. Um, but even the time I experienced in high school or university, I don't actually found or find anything difficult or get myself into any like unsafety situation. So and it's been like 6 years already, 6 or 7 years already. So I'm pretty sure that um, Canada it's a safe country. Not just Ottawa or Hamilton, the city that I used to live. Canada in general, it's a safe, fair, safe country to come.
Yes, I think so too, for sure. Um, in your academic life, um, were there any services that you took advantage of? This is a question from the audience. Were there any programs that really helped you with your studies? Did you ever need to access the tutoring services or anything like that? Parth, can I start with you?
Oh yeah, so we do have office hours, firstly. which are provided by Carleton itself. They have open door systems where their teaching assistants and professors wait and sit for you to ask questions separately. So please make use of that. And there's also for science students, um, SSSC is an organization that you should follow. Um, they constantly have programs and events and webinars related to specific courses. And even before midterms, they will have webinars for that midterm to help you out, answer questions, have practice quizzes, and they're huge support. Yeah,
And SSSC, that stands for Science Student Support Center. Is that right?
yeah, support center. Correct.
Excellent. Thanks. Thanks, Parth. Romina, how about you? Have you ever needed to access particular programs or services on campus to help you succeed in your studies?
Yeah. Well, I've been to career services. In my first year, I went to the International Service Office. I've been to writing services, and I used to go to office hours of my courses, and that really helped me if I had like questions or doubts.
Hmm. That's a good point. Yes, the TAs and the professors and the instructors are all quite accessible with dedicated office hours where you can go in and sit down and chit chat with them about the latest lecture or what you're reading about at that point in time. How about you, Dua?
So a really big perk of the journalism program is that our classes are like of like 18 people. So we don't have office hours. You just go talk to your professor or like the two professors per class. Like there are a lot of resources. So I've never felt the need to access academic support because I felt it in the classroom itself with the professors that we have. So
Awesome. Yeah. Um, Now we're getting close to the end of our session, but before we wrap up, I would like to ask each of you if there is any particular advice or guidance that you would give to a new student starting at Carleton in the fall. How about you, Winmy? What advice would you give to the incoming students?
Um, I would say I think I've heard it from a critique from another section, but try to put yourself out there, try to open yourself more, gain experience, do stuff that you didn't do before. You're in a new country now. There's so many things that you wish to do when you were still in your home country. So don't be afraid to do it. um, Also, but still prioritize your academic life. Maybe have a fixed, not fixed schedule, but have a like a fixed ratio, like 70% for your academic life and 30% for your self or something like that. But yeah, but trying to trying to be yourself more, trying to do the stuff that you always wish to do. Don't be afraid.
Hmm. That's a good point. The university experience is quite unique and it will really help shape your entire university career. So it's good advice to put yourself out there and to explore beyond your comfort zone for sure. Parth, how about you? What advice would you give to your younger self before you started at Carleton?
So as Vinny said already, get involved firstly,
Yeah.
and secondly is to actually relax, calm down. You guys got this. The university is flexible and they want you to succeed. So trust them, trust yourself, and enjoy yourselves.
Great. And how about you, Dua?
I would say take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Don't be scared, like as my like two colleagues have already said, don't be scared to apply for opportunities even if you think that you're going to get rejected because if you don't try, your response will always be no. So you might as well try. You've done the scary part. If you're like when you move to Canada, that's the scariest part. You've done that already. So why not, put that extra step forward and apply for all the opportunities that you have, especially because there are so many on this campus. So
Yes, that is something I've always admired about our international students. Just having the courage to go to the other side of the planet in many cases to study away from family and friends. It takes a lot of bravery, it takes a lot of courage, and it's great to make the most of it. Now, since I have a feeling you'd all be following the same sort of line of thought in that, Romina, I'd like to ask you about just one last question about campus culture. Do you find the students are friendly and approachable and they interact well with each other?
Yeah, I would say everyone is really friendly. It's really easy to make friends, especially, for example, me that I've lived in residence for 4 years. Uh, like I've met people in the caf, just like go around and talk to people. It's really nice.
That's awesome. Kriti, how has your experience been with interacting with other students, whether it be in your program or in other areas on campus?
For me, because I personally lived off campus, I feel it was a bit different. Like approaching people was more during my class time, especially in my first, like second year, because my first year was online. I feel like in classrooms, it's like you're gonna be scared, and just know that the other person is also gonna be scared just as much
Mhm.
as you are. And I feel like telling myself that did help me a little because when you start approaching people, you just know how much they're nervous too to be there and be like to talk to people. And I feel just like, making the first move, or even just like maybe joining a club to meet the same people as you, or same religion aspects, or same culture. If that's something you're looking for, it can also be a good starting point. And like Romina said, like people sometimes just randomly come and talk to you. Like I've seen that, like with me and my friends sitting, people would just come in and just start talking, and it would just be as normal.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, there's so many different personality types. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted, and that's always a consideration as well. But you're always going to find other students on campus that are coming from the same point of view as yourself. Well, thank you so much to all of the ambassadors that have joined us today. You guys have been really amazing with with everything that you've shared with the audience today.